Welcome to REST, which stands for Resiliency and Empowerment Seminar today. I am your host, Susan Gans, and I am the founder and strategic advisor with Gans Strategic Solutions, where we operate at the intersection of business and human behavior. This show is about hearing from leaders of small and mid-sized businesses as well as nonprofits. We hear about the journeys of these leaders as well as shine a light on their organizations, and very importantly these days, hear about how they're being resilient. I'm so delighted today to welcome our guest, Elizabeth Gearhart. A little bit about Elizabeth. She is the founder of the startup company called Fireside, the first video directory of small businesses. She interviews small business owners about their companies and their unique value propositions, and then posts those videos on the Fireside Directory YouTube channel and website. Elizabeth learned interviewing skills through her work as a co-host of the iHeartMedia radio show and podcast called Passage to Profit, The Inventor Show. Each week, she and her co-host interview a business expert and 3 entrepreneurs. The show is broadcast on iHeart Talk radio show, WOR 710 Sundays, and started in July of 2018. Elizabeth's current role at Gearhart Law is that of Chief Marketing Officer. She is also a registered patent agent and holds a PhD in chemistry. Welcome to the show, Elizabeth.
Thanks, Susan. Nice to be here.
Wonderful. So tell us about your own path from chemistry to law to being essentially a talk show host on a couple of different venues.
Well, it's been a zigzag, as you can probably guess. So I started out in the chemical industry and worked in the chemical industry for 10 years as an analytical chemist, and then was married during that time, and we started moving around and I had children. So I decided to focus on the children because if you've ever moved with children, it's very difficult for them. We moved a couple of times, and my husband was the head of U.S. area patents at Novartis, and that's what brought us up here from Atlanta. And he decided to leave to start his own patent law firm. And I told him that I would do whatever he needed me to do to help him succeed, which is maybe a stupid thing to do. I don't know. Our kids were young and in school, middle school, high school at the time. And I worked as like a Girl Friday doing everything for a while. And then I got my patent agent's license so that I could actually draft patent applications. And I did that for a while. And then we really needed somebody who understood the lingo to do the marketing, because the intellectual property venue gets very difficult and complicated very quickly. And people that we had writing copy for us and trying to do things kept confusing patents, trademarks, and copyrights with each other. They didn't understand the difference. They didn't understand the nuances. So I took over the marketing effort. And I had been doing that for a while and networking with people and doing different things. And my husband had been in a Vistage group in New York and met some people in his group that had a radio show on CBS. So we went to listen to they taped their show in front of a live audience. So we went to listen to it and met the CBS rep, who was Kenya Gibson. And then a couple of years later, we kept in touch with her. And a couple of years after that, she called me up and said, how would you guys like to do a radio show for entrepreneurs on iHeartRadio and every week? And I was kind of like, well, actually, that had never crossed our minds. I have no idea. So I brought the idea home to my husband, Richard, who had actually been on radio when he was in college. And we decided to take the plunge. What the heck? And it's paid advertising. So we do pay to be on the radio. And the format of the show is that we have an accomplished business person or entrepreneur give advice, and we interview them for 20 minutes. And then we have 3 startups or entrepreneurs who are a little bit along the way present their companies. And it's a very friendly format. It's not like Shark Tank or pitching. They pitch their companies, but we ask them questions and try to like give them real positive feedback and help them sell their products. So we've been doing it for 2 years. We love it. We're doing it on Zoom now. It's still playing on iHeartRadio because we try to get good enough Zoom audio so that the radio can actually use it. And everybody has, this problem today. So, so that's it in a nutshell. Oh, and I forgot about Fireside.
Yes, talk to us about Fireside.
Right. So Fireside, I decided that I wanted something that was my own and that could be a woman-owned company. And I realized I really enjoyed talking to people about their businesses. And I looked all over at directories. I looked online. I could not find a video directory. Maybe there are some small ones out there. I was going to start with lawyers and interview them and get their authentic self to come through so people could look at the videos before they hired the lawyer. And at the time, which was almost a year ago now, when I first got the idea, people were supposed to have video, but they didn't really know where to put it. And they were kind of afraid to do it, right? And so I started in the fall and had a video studio and had some people come up there. And then it was hard to get people to do that because people hate being on video. In the spring, when COVID hit, I decided to start doing the videos on Zoom, thinking these will be temporary placeholder videos. And when this is all over, people can come and do a real video again and a really nice one. Well, the Zoom videos are working out very well. So I don't know that we'll ever have to redo them, but people can if they want to. In fact, I've had a couple people redo the first initial ones that we did at the very beginning of COVID because they didn't know what they were going to do with their businesses. And now they've made the changes they need. So I interview people and I try to make it like we're sitting having a cup of coffee together, right? And I'm thinking about hiring them. And I try to ask the questions I think a consumer would ask them. And then I put them on my YouTube channel and on my website. So that's Fireside.
That's fantastic. And I've had the privilege of being on your show and really applaud the initiative that you're doing to also raise the profile of small business owners and taking your marketing savvy that you learned trial by fire with your husband's law firm. So that brings a question about resiliency, right? Because you've essentially launched this right before COVID and you were plowing ahead. So talk about personal resiliency and then through the conversations that you've been having with the business owners you've spoken to, how are they being resilient?
So at the beginning, it was terrifying because my husband owns his own business and I was working in the business. So we didn't know if we were going to have an income or not. So we got the PPP and I helped him with that. But it turns out, and this happened in 2008 with the crash too, during times like this, people come up with a lot of inventions. And since he's a patent attorney and they start their own businesses because they understand that's the only way they can really have control over their own destiny. And so then knock on wood, the law firm has been okay. So the law firm did not have to actually make a lot of changes because everything that we were doing with the law firm, or most everything we were doing with the law firm before quarantine, was on Zoom. We were having Zoom meetings. We're doing things by phone. When you file things with the United States Patent and Trademark Office, it's all electronic. They don't even want hard copies of anything. And so that wasn't a big switch. The only switch was just kind of worrying if people were still going to be doing it, but they are. So it was pretty seamless for the law firm. For Fireside, it actually helped Fireside because nobody had wanted to be on video before. And we all hate how we look on video. I'm getting used to how I look on video, but I kind of hate it. I'm not a movie star. And so everybody has to be on Zoom now though. So everybody's getting used to being on video and everybody knows they need video. So it's actually made it a lot easier to get people to be on Fireside and to do these interviews with me. So, but emotional resiliency, I think when I first started out with COVID interviewing people, people were terrified and they were depressed. And I felt like doing these interviews was kind of a service to them because it at least gave them a chance to talk about their business and maybe have another place to promote it. And then the people that I've revisited have figured it all out, and they're coping in the time of quarantine and carrying their businesses forward anyway. So it's the resiliency I have seen has been amazing. And some of the Gearhart Law clients were hurt by the supply chain disruption because of the lockdowns overseas. But
Yes.
yeah, but that's pretty much gone now. There's still a little bit from that, but things are kind of back to normal with other countries, even though we're not quite there yet. So I I have seen a tremendous amount of resiliency. Now, the people I know though all have kind of white collar educated jobs and are able to work from home, and they all have computers, et cetera. So I don't, there's a fraction of society that I don't see.
Got it. So it's so wonderful that you're providing an outlet for businesses to be highlighted and to share their stories and to create a community of resiliency and creativity during this time. Which brings me to a question about empowerment. How do you empower yourself, and how do you empower the people that you work with?
Well, I really love what I do, and I surround myself with just incredible people. And I find that the people that I have around me are, some of them, everybody's struggling a little bit, right? But they're very supportive and they help me. And with Fireside, I've, as an entrepreneur, you need that little boost up. They've helped me by saying, oh, I think it's a great idea, carry on, and given me support. So that is how I feel empowered. And the people around me, I think the fact that they've been able to survive for 6 months, I think we're all pretty much in survival mode. And, we thought this, I think a lot of us thought this would be over by the summer. And now we're realizing it's kind of a way of life for a while, and that things may never go back completely to what they were.
Yes.
But I think that people are realizing too that change was coming anyway, because it always does. This just forced it to come that much faster. And they've adapted to that, and they're empowered by seeing that they can get through this.
Yes, they're saying that there is an other side, and while we've not in 100 whatever years been through a pandemic, we've been through other sorts of challenges and times, and we've seen many people come out of the other side. So I'm glad that those messages are getting through.
Right. And I compare wearing a mask to having to live through World War II. Like, really? Wearing a mask is nothing compared to what people went through in World War II.
Yes, yes. So talk to me about mentors and sponsors you might have had along the way, people that have supported you. You talk about surrounding yourself with people that have been supportive. So can you speak more about mentors and sponsors along the way?
Sure. Well, my husband has probably been the most supportive one. He actually liked the idea from the very beginning and thought it was a good idea. And so, of course, the law firm pays for our whole lifestyle. And I have been doing this on a shoestring because I have, we weren't sure how much money there was going to be. So everything I do myself pretty much. But he's been instrumental. And then, Amy Adon, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I met her, and she has been like my own personal sales rep. She has been bringing me people for Fireside, which has just been awesome. So we're kind of working together. And then I have another friend, Marcella, who does the same thing, who brings me people for Fireside. And then people who come on the radio show, the Passage to Profit radio show. I have learned myself so much from that show, because we get high-powered people to come on as guests, and the lessons they have to teach are really amazing. And the people that we had last week, this person does digital creativity. I don't even want to call it digital marketing, because it's not like normal digital marketing. And just sitting there listening to him, I learned so much in just a few minutes. So that's been a great source of mentors. And then other people in our community too, who are investors that we've known for years through the entrepreneurial community, have really taught a lot too, just by listening to their presentations.
Fantastic. So, looking back, is there any piece of advice that you would have given to your younger self with your perspective that you have now?
Absolutely. I would have said, be brave. You know what? I think it's hard. We don't realize how much value we bring a lot of times to other people. And having my husband be a business owner where he employs people, and finding good employees is really tough. And you're probably better than you think. And especially if you're at a big corporation, they kind of try to make you feel like, oh, we can replace you tomorrow, but really they don't want to have to because it costs money. So you're really more important than you think. So you can be a little braver than you think you can be.
I like that. Be brave. That's perfect. Is there a key word or phrase that inspires you or particularly motivates you during this time?
There are a lot of them. Um, I think just stay strong, just we're all stronger than we think we are. Obviously, we're all being tested right now. And I think just staying strong, just knowing that this one way or another we'll get through this. It'll pass, but we don't really know what the other side looks like, but we kind of have an idea. And as you so well pointed out, we've been through stuff like this before, and we're still alive. We're all fine.
Absolutely. So, Elizabeth, what would you like people to remember about our conversation today?
I would love for people to remember that Fireside.directory is a brand new entity, and it's where people can go to watch business owners do short videos where they talk about their business and ask questions they would ask. And they can pick a business owner from watching them on that site. And then I would love business owners to know that any business owner can come on the site and we can have a friendly, informative interview where they can talk as if we're sitting at the kitchen table.
Hence, Fireside, right?
Yeah, fireside chat.
Wonderful. And how can people find you, Elizabeth? Because we want them to find you.
Right. So they can find me on LinkedIn, Elizabeth Gearhart. And I usually use my law firm email address because that's the one I check most often, which is Elizabeth, Elizabeth, at Gearhart, Gearhart, law.com. So Elizabeth at gearhartlaw.com.
Perfect. And is there a website for the directory you want to, or YouTube channel that you want people to look at Fireside?
Absolutely. So the YouTube channel is Fireside Directory, and the email with that is firesidedirectory@gmail.com. And then the website is fireside.directory. So there's no .com. Directory is the extension. And if you go onto the website, fireside.directory, into the contact us, you can actually book a 30-minute session with me using my Calendly link.
Wonderful. So I'm going to repeat everything for our audience. So Elizabeth's preferred email is elizabeth@gearhartlaw.com. You can find Fireside Directory on YouTube. You can also email firesidedirectory@gmail.com. And you could find Fireside Directory at fireside.directory.
Excellent.
So, Elizabeth, it was so wonderful to talk to you today. I really appreciated your be brave and stay strong messages, and to realize that we all have strength within us, and it's about believing in that. And I hope our audience takes that to heart. And to our audience, I really do look forward to our next conversation.